A 16-year-old boy from Tameside has pleaded guilty to attempting to buy a biological poison 30 times more toxic than ricin. The teenager was arrested in raids by the North West Counter-Terrorism Unit.
The boy, who can't be named, claimed that he tried to buy abrin to kill himself. Police say it would have been enough to kill 200 people. He was caught after undercover officers tracked him on the internet. Naomi Cornwell reports.
It was here in the Mosley area of Tameside that two teenagers were arrested as the region's counter-terrorism unit raided two homes. A 16-year-old girl was later released without charge, but the 16-year-old boy had come to the police's attention after using a part of the internet known as the dark web. He used it to try and remain anonymous as he posted messages online expressing an interest in buying a deadly toxin, mentioning abrin and its potential to kill. One of the people he was talking to online was an undercover officer. Abrin is a natural poison similar to ricin. It's found in the seeds of a plant called the rosary pea. A court heard the teenager tried to order 10 milligrams of abrin, but that it's 30 times more toxic than ricin, and just 0.05 milligrams would be enough to kill a person. Manchester Youth Court was told the teenager had intended to use the substance to commit suicide. Today, he pleaded guilty to attempting to acquire a biological toxin under the Criminal Attempts Act and the Biological Weapons Act.
This is a highly unusual case, so much so that the Attorney General had to give authorisation for the case to proceed here. And this 16-year-old boy is believed to be only the second person ever convicted under this legislation.
He'll be sentenced later this month. Naomi Cornwell, BBC North West Tonight at Manchester Youth Court.
Well, as Naomi said in her report, all this happened on the internet in a part of it called the dark web. To talk more about that, Professor Martyn Amos is here. He's from Manchester Metropolitan University. Thank you for coming in. This is your area of expertise. Just explain what the dark web is. It sounds very sinister.
Well, the web that we're familiar with, Facebook, Google, Amazon and so on, is very much the tip of the iceberg in terms of our internet experience. It's been calculated that sort of surface web accounts for only 1% of the actual web itself.
And so the kind of stuff you and I can access easily on our home computer just by typing in.
That's right.
There's 99% more stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah, it's like an iceberg. There's the surface web, which is what we can get at in our day-to-day activities, but there's a large chunk of the web underneath the surface called the deep web, which is made up of not just nefarious sites, but all sorts of archives and so on. It's not necessarily accessible via Google.
So who's using this?
Well, there's any number of different people can access the dark web. It's you need special software. You can't just stumble into it. You can't just wander in off the street into the dark web.
Some of it is legitimate, though, from what you've said.
A lot of it's legitimate, and I think that's the danger of tarring everything on the dark web with the same brush. There's a lot of legitimate applications, such as if you live in a repressive regime, if you live in a country with a repressive regime, you may want to get in touch with people who are of a like mind without necessarily leaving tracks.
This young boy was caught because he was found on there by undercover officers. Yeah. Is it possible to go onto the internet and do anything without leaving a trace?
Well, I think it's if you've got the right software, if you've got the right tools, if you've got the right browser, it's quite easy to cover your tracks in terms of your browsing and your transactions and so on. But unfortunately, a lot of people aren't very good at remaining anonymous online. They leave little trails behind. They may get involved with conversations with people online, give away bits of information.
Which in this case is probably a good thing. Yeah. Okay, Professor Martyn Amos, thank you very much indeed for talking to us. Professor Amos is from Manchester Metropolitan University.